It is was it July 2nd or July 3rd? July 2nd, so I'm going to have to rename this 2025, and you are on my 13-mile commute home. Welcome to the show. All right, so this episode we're going to talk specifically and probably only about what Nintendo's up to. So I am no champion of Nintendo. I speak a lot of their rights in terms of Switch emulation and Switch piracy, because I firmly believe that current generation systems do not enjoy the luxury of being called preservation or, things of that nature. That's preservation of a current gen system is like an oxymoron, right? So yes, I've come to Nintendo's defense a couple of times, but I think it's about time for me to start turning the other cheek on this topic. So we all know what's going on. Nintendo, with the Switch 2, has created what could inevitably be an illegal end user license agreement, or EULA, with regards to what they're allowed to do to your system that you purchase, that you own. Now, right now, YouTube is all a Twitter with this. You wanted us all to be abuzz with regards to this lawsuit that may be coming from Brazil. That's right. Apparently, in Brazil, I don't have a lot of details yet, but apparently in Brazil, they are looking to essentially sue Nintendo for this process that they are using to brick or ban, we'll talk about that in a minute, the Switch 2, if you do anything that pisses them off, like use a MIG Switch card, or even use a username that they don't like. Now listen, even I have limits defending a company against gross insubordination. And let's be honest, what we got going on here is gross insubordination. All right, so I could almost buy doing bad things to you if you use a flash card on the Switch 2. I could almost buy that. Almost. Right? It's for Switch 1 games, not Switch 2 games. So even my argument of current gen is not preservation sort of steps back. But the Switch 2 is sort of one of those unique cases, right? Where a lot of the benefit and usage of the Switch 2 is for Switch 1 gaming. And let's be honest, Switch 2 kind of fixes Switch 1, right? So at the same time, I can't be two-faced and say, well, Switch 1 games are no longer current generation, so you should be able to pirate all you want. You should be able to pirate in the name of preservation all you want. So I kind of get it. I get it. I get the concept of Nintendo wanting to do something bad to you for using piracy devices. I get that. But your goddamn username? Somebody named themselves Twink Link, and their Switch 2 got banned by Nintendo. What the fuck? I cannot justify that. I cannot get behind it. There's no way that I could spin this in a positive way for Nintendo. Nintendo, that was a dick move. And frankly, that puts any sort of goodwill I might have had for them out the door. So, so let's talk for a moment about this brick versus ban, because I want to make sure this is a huge point of contention, which I think is hilarious. Is it bricked or is it banned? What does that mean? What are we talking about here? Okay, bricked means it has no value. Banned means you can't use certain things with it, okay? You are banned from a service. All right, so let's go through that. If you attempt to root your phone, your Android phone, and in the middle of the rooting process, the phone dies, the power gets kicked out, or you just fuck up, that device becomes unrecoverable. You can't turn it on, you can't use it, you can't make a call with it, you can't browse porn with it. Nothing you can do. That's a brick. What Nintendo is leaving you with your Switch 2 is a ban. Your Switch 2 is banned from the Nintendo network. That doesn't mean it won't power on. It doesn't mean it won't play games off of cartridges. There's all sorts of things that it continues to do. But yes, you are banned from the Nintendo network. Now, so we're going to use the verbiage of banned. So Nintendo is banning Switch 2 from their network for doing shit that they don't like. Even people were even insinuating that if you were to do a repair on your Switch 2, change out the, change something out on the Joy-Cons or something, technically by the EULA, they could brick your system ban your system for that. That's pretty fucked up, right? That steps all over right to repair. And I have absolutely no qualms calling them out on that. So while I gave Nintendo a big pass on the Switch 1 nonsense when it came to MIG-Switch and piracy and all that, they are pretty much out of my good graces now. And that's too bad. So here's what's going to happen. In regions where it is legal, right? Like the EU, right? In the United States, we have protection against nothing. You lucky bastards in the EU, they will protect you. They have the data privacy. They got all sorts of great shit. We get nothing here. We're allowed to be shucked like ears of fucking corn. So, with that said, in the areas like Brazil or in the EU where Nintendo and their EULA can go to hell in a handbasket, there will be essentially the equivalent of class action lawsuits, right? We are probably not going to be able to get in on it here, which is completely ridiculous. However, it's possible that the precedent that is set forth by these other countries, the other regions, it's possible that perhaps we will have some legal recourse with precedents from these other countries like Brazil or Europe. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. So the current buzz around the internet is fuck Nintendo and pirate all you want, do whatever you want. It's perfectly legally justified. It's morally justified, ethically justified to screw Nintendo 7 ways to sundown. And I'm starting to get on that. I'm starting to get on that boat because they fucked up, right? You don't ban somebody's $500 console because of the username that they chose. First off, it's 2020. All right. So if your algorithm system, for God's sakes, we have AI that will write a freaking PhD paper for you. But you're telling me that something on Nintendo's servers couldn't have said, oh, we don't like Twink Link for a name, and we're just not going to allow you to change it. No. We'll let you change it, and then we'll ban your system for it. What the fuck is that? I mean, I'm assuming this is true. I'm basing my information off of what I'm presuming is reality. So yeah, that's a dickhead move to do. And let's be honest too, while we're at it, I am all about punishing piracy when it makes sense. Now, in this case, with the MIG-Switch, Switch 1 games, playing it on the Switch 2, kind of asking for it, right? Not saying I necessarily agree with it, but you're kind of asking for it. But the hammer ban should not come to your hardware. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Not Nintendo, not Microsoft, not Valve, not Sony, nobody. Whether it's your toaster, your fucking dishwasher, your refrigerator, your car, your hardware should never suffer because you're a moron. That's my story. You're dumb enough to use a MIG switch while you're while your Switch 2 is online, whatever, you're not doing yourself any favors by trying to be an early adopter of piracy on Switch 2. Kind of have it coming. So it's hard for me to begrudge Nintendo that. However, hardware bans never, ever, ever. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to philosophize. Philosophize? That's not even a word. I'm gonna extrapolate on the idea of why this is such a bad thing to be going on. Fuck being a game console. Fuck video games. Fuck whatever. This sets a very bad precedence moving forward. If Nintendo gets away with doing this, and they might, it sets forth all sorts of nasty shit for consumers in the future. Drastically reducing right to repair, drastically interfering with your rights. So if you buy a piece of hardware, they shouldn't be able to lock you out of it. They shouldn't be able to harm the usage of that hardware. I mean, so who gives, Switch 2, who gives a shit? Fuck Nintendo. Okay, what if it was your car? What if your car could be bricked because you tried to get free satellite radio, right? You were trying to punch in some secret code to get you free satellite radio. And, suddenly your car's a fucking brick. You fucked up. You violated the EULA, so now your car literally is sitting there undrivable, can't use it, can't do anything. That's what Nintendo's nonsense is paving the way for. We don't want any of that shit. I mean, it's bad enough now you don't fucking own anything, not really, but imagine if this is the way things are going to be in the future, right? You piss us off, we cut you off. We just shut your hardware off. We shut it down. Oh, you plugged in a USB drive on your smart TV and tried to watch pirated copies of Game of Thrones. TV sees it. You violated the EULA. I'm going to just disable your fucking television. What the fuck? That's what this could be. That's what this could lend to our future. We don't want that. So we need Nintendo to not get away with this. Listen, ban the fucking account, okay? If you're signed in as Joe Q Public and you try to use a flash card, fine. Ban the goddamn account, right? I feel that is within their rights within the EULA. You don't ban the system. You don't ban the hardware. Even Microsoft, who are kind of dicks, right? Back in the old days with the Xbox 360, you could flash a custom firmware on your DVD drive in the unit and play pirated games. Well, of course they don't want you doing that. So you know what they did? They didn't ban your account. They didn't ban your hardware. They reflashed the drive with the stock firmware. And of course that pissed everybody off. But that's perfect. That, to me, that's legit. That's a legit punishment for the crime. That's just my thoughts. So we do not want this to become the way it is. It's like I said, it's already bad enough that we're dealing with, DRM and de novo and whatever bullshit they, Borderlands 4 is going to put on their stupid shit. It's bonkers, man. Everybody is a criminal and they have to be treated as such. Everybody's the criminal until proven otherwise. And we're not going to give you the opportunity. It's like no habeas corpus, right? Why is everybody a fucking criminal? So let's say, for example, I'm trying to come up with one that works because I'm just doing this off the cuff here. If you've proven yourself a risk in a particular area, right? Then put the cuffs on. But no, everybody is treated as if they are the criminal. We're going to put copy protection on your discs. We're going to put server-side checks in your software. We're going to put de novo on shit. We're going to put this on here because we're going to assume that you're a fucking dirty-ass cheater. So we're going to put Ricochet anti-cheat kernel level rootkit shit on your computer. Because we're going to assume that of the 10 million people playing Call of Duty right now, every single one of them are filthy ass cheaters. We're not going to punish the cheaters, we're going to punish everybody. Wouldn't it be great? Like, if you were caught cheating, it would force you to run Ricochet when you play Call of Duty. But if you're a good boy and you don't fuck around and you don't cheat, you're not penalized. That'd be fantastic. Wouldn't it be great if your established history on Steam, I've been on Steam for like 20 fucking years at this point. I don't think it's quite that long. I just had an anniversary because, you know, they buzz you and say, congratulations on your 15 years with Steam. Would it be great if you're a long-time established Steam buyer that maybe, just maybe, companies will say, listen, this guy's bought like 3,200 games. He spent $50,000 on this ecosystem. How about we give him the non-de novo version, right? How about we give him the non-fucking anti-cheat edition? Because this guy's obviously not a pirate. He's paying for his shit. Let's reward. Or at least not punish. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Because then I could play Call of Duty Black Ops 6 or 7 or whatever on my Steam Deck. Well, I can't now because they assume I'm going to be a dirty, filthy cheater, especially because I'm running Linux. You Linux users are all dirty, filthy cheaters. It's kind of sucky if you think about it, you know? That we're all being punished. And of course, we all know, right, that the pirates aren't punished. The pirates get the DRM free games. The pirates get all the DLC for free. The pirates have, you know, very little in the way of punishment for their crimes. Meanwhile, average consumer, yeah, we get stuck with all that shit. So, yeah. But anyway, so the whole Nintendo thing just makes me mental. I'm actually kind of sad that we own one now. My wife absolutely loves it. She plays like 3 games on it. So, you know how they say it's a life support system for a particular game? Like for me, the Steam Deck for the longest time, life support system for Overwatch, right? That's all I pretty much played on it. My wife plays fucking Fantasy Life, Hello Kitty, that fucking Hello Kitty Island game, and she's got some other game she plays on there. Disney Dreamlight Valley. She plays 3 fucking games on a $500 gaming system. But listen, makes her happy. So, you know, I mean, listen, I play like 3 games. I can't really blame her. I got a, $2,400 gaming PC, and I play fucking Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, and Planet Crafter. You know, maybe I'm part of the problem. But anyway, so yeah, it'll be interesting. I really want to see how it all plays out. Will Nintendo back down? Probably not. What's more likely to happen? Oh, by the way, let's go back real quick to the whole Switch 2 being banned thing. When your hardware is bricked, there's no recourse, right? If you fuck up your phone with a bad root attempt, it's fucked. You can't go in and JTAG it back to life. There's nothing you can do. Back in the old days with the NVIDIA Shield tablet, there was an old version of the tablet that apparently succumbed to the battery expanding, right? So they had, instead of recalling the tablet, they sent everybody a new model of it. But you had to give up your old one. But instead, this was very, very clever of them. Instead of packaging it up and paying all that shit and having to dispose of it themselves, right? They basically said, okay, give us the serial number of your existing tablet that's going to explode someday, and we'll send you the new tablet FOC. We'll even pay shipping, but we're going to shut off the other one, and there's no recovery. So they had a remote kill switch for the old Shield tablets. And so you got the new Shield, you set it up, they gave you a certain grace period to get all your shit transferred over, all that good stuff. Then one day you would turn on your old Shield tablet, gone. No recovery. There's your brick. That's a brick. No possible solution, right? Even the community tried. They tried to figure out a way to bring those fuckers back to life, and NVIDIA had it all worked out. So there was nobody bringing anything back to life. Now, let's look at the Switch 2. Yes, your Switch 2 is banned from Nintendo services. That's temporary, friends, because anybody who's been alive for 15 or 20 years knows at some point the Switch 2 will be hacked right the fuck open. You will be able to go in at some point in time and restore that system to operation. And if you can't, you'll be restoring it into a pirated operation where you're going to be able to play all the games. You're going to be able to use fake DNS to alternate DNS so that you can hook it up to some faux server that's going to be able to deliver the games that you want and that you own or whatever. Sort of like Pretendo. It's all going to happen. So that $500 console that's banned, it's not forever. There will be a recovery methodology, and I don't think it'll take very long. I truly believe that the hackers are working double time, extra time, and triple time to make damn sure that we're going to have access to this system. So just because it's banned, doesn't mean it's useless. So just time solves pretty much everything. All right, listen, I'm at the store. I got to head in. Shane R. Monroe, Passion City Radio. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time. Take